Greed is right. Greed works.
Hello everyone, RakeM here, and welcome to episode 12 of Let's Play Wall Street Raider. To recap what's happened in the last couple of episodes, in episode 10 we had a major spike in the price of crude. We had futures in Royal Dutch and Nippon for oil, as well as ourselves personally, and that resulted in a major influx of cash. It threw the stock price of Dutch through the roof, so we cashed out and reinvested in the industry, the oil industry, using Lukoil. But then last industry, Lukoil became the subject of some asbestos lawsuits, so we transferred the assets from Lukoil to Arabian Oil and Refining, which is not on our list, but we'll get to it in a minute. We still haven't done anything with the cash that's in Nippon, because up until now his stock price has been below our target, which was in the neighborhood of $2,500 a share. So now that he's above that, we'll be looking to cash out our profit and re-enter the global telecommunications industry using a different company. Most likely Verizon, because he's reasonably priced and has about a 5% market share. But we'll be looking at that a little bit more momentarily. We have our interest rate has climbed, is up to 10.5%. It was up to 11.5% at one point, but it's still tightening. So we're hoping that it'll get up to at least 11.75%, maybe 12%, so that we can do some more interest rate swaps. The ones that we have now, a lot of them have already gone by the wayside, and the ones that are left will start expiring next year. So we'll want to do some more of those as soon as we can. I noticed that silver is finally down to a decent price. We currently have 4 sets of futures transactions on silver, but we need to add a 5th one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And last episode we invested in a whole bunch of companies, and I started a spreadsheet, which is right here. These are the 12 stocks that I own directly, but they have stocks that they own. And let's go ahead and expand this out. Here is all of the companies that we own. These 3 that are yellow are the industries that we were not able to enter. We either needed a large market share and there weren't enough companies to get it, or there were no companies that were reasonably priced or worth buying. So we're going to be looking at these again later on, maybe towards the end of this episode or the beginning of next episode. All of these dark orange ones, some of them I have highlighted because there are dividends that we need to eliminate. Some of them are highlighted because they were subsidiaries of other companies that we bought that we have not looked at or did not look at since we bought them. So Fuji Machine was a bankruptcy that the bank inherited, and we haven't looked at it yet. Time Warner was a subsidiary of AOL. We haven't looked at it yet. Time Warner Cable, it's the same thing, etc. So we're going to be looking at those that are orange right away, so that we can figure out what needs to be done with them. Something else that we're going to be doing this episode is we're going to be turning on the autopilot and seeing what it does with our stock settings. So right now, under human settings here, this is what we currently have the dividend, growth rate, and R&D set to ourselves. And after we turn on the autopilot, we're going to record what the autopilot does with these settings. And we're going to learn exactly how the autopilot works, and if we like it, we'll keep it, and if we don't like it, we'll turn it back off. But I've never used it before, and I just want to see what it does. So we'll be turning that on and taking a look at it after the autopilot has had a quarter or two to do its thing, whatever that thing is. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to deal with Nippon. Stock price is up above 28.56. But before I do that, I want to show you something that I noticed between now and episode 10. Let me bring up episode 10. So this is a couple of episodes ago. It was early in the same year. We're still in 2022. And back in January was when I had Nippon and Royal Dutch buy futures of spot crude back when it was in the mid to low 40s. And we calculated then what our target price was going to be for Nippon. And we need to figure out what our target price is now. So let's go to tax basis report. 495. Let me pause it right here. You see the tax cost basis is 495 billion. Now between this point in the game and now, 9 months later, we didn't contribute anything additional to this company. All right, but if you look at the tax basis cost as it is now, it says that it's $1.1 trillion. Now, the only explanation for that is that the huge spike in oil and the resulting profits from that were added to this tax basis. And that makes sense because the parent company shouldn't have to pay tax on profits that the subsidiary has already paid taxes on. So, if I were to use the same calculation now to tell me what the target price is based on this tax cost basis, which I have done over here. Okay, so Nippon is here, and according to the new calculation, the target price is $5,716 a share. Okay, but actually it should still be what we calculate from episode 10. 138 times 5, and I think he has 10 billion shares. No, 1 billion shares. Okay, which was 2475.69. So we're good to go to sell this thing. Despite what this says, it just means we have to pay less tax, and I'm all for that. So we're going to go ahead and sell this off. But before we do that, he's got too much cash. He's got 722 billion in cash. So I want to take my profit, but I don't want to leave him with all that money, knowing that we're going to re-enter the industry. On top of that, he's got a whole bunch of stock in the same companies, in companies in the same industry. So here's the stock that he owns, and there's nine of them that he owns 19% of, except for this guy, Daewoo Group. And I don't even know why he has that. I'm not even sure if he's in the same industry. Let's look. Daewoo Group. I don't see him. I don't know how we got that one. But anyway. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and sell him off 80%. Because I think that'll go to the public. Do an extraordinary dividend and then sell the rest, and then have the bank buy as much as it can of other stocks here. So we're going to proceed to do that right now. Alright, and now Nippon should have 80% public. Good. Alright, so now we're going to do an extraordinary dividend, and we're going to do it for the maximum amount. Okay, and now we're going to have it sell all of its stock in all these other companies. And we're still not doing anything with the earnings report. We're going to start doing that probably the next episode. We're going to go through and check on each of these companies individually during this episode, and then we can start backing off a little bit and only checking on them when the earnings reports come up. Alright, so he doesn't own any stock and he still has money. So we're going to go ahead and do another extraordinary dividend for that. Alright, so now he's got $5 billion in cash and no credit. 0 credit. That's exactly what we want. So now we'll have the bank sell the rest. Okay. So now the bank has $2.5 billion in cash. All right. And now we need to go and reinvest in that industry. So let's start with Verizon because he's got a great price on him. And we're going to have the bank buy him. Okay. And let's see what else we can buy. British Telecom. Yep. Alright, so we'll have the bank buy him as well. And we'll contribute British Telecom to Verizon. And now we'll liquidate British Telecom. Alright, and let's see if there's any others. Looks like we inherited GTE. How much of him? 100%. Good. Alright, let's liquidate him as well. Alright, what else? Telecom France. Alright, we'll have the bank buy him. I think if we just contribute him to Verizon and then merge them, we won't have to do a tender offer for the other 5%. So let's see if that's the case. Because it should amount to less than 1% of Verizon when the merger is complete. Alright, well, it's been blocked by the bondholders, so I guess we need to we will have to buy out that tech fund and then contribute cash. Alright, I'm going to start with 24%. Alright, let's try 29. Alright, that they accepted. Now let's look at Verizon and see what he needs money-wise. Alright, so we want the debt to be like what? 22, 23 billion? So we need to give him 27. Alright, let's have him liquidate Telecom France now. Alright, now we'll buy back these bonds and put the rest toward the loan. Alright. And I guess Telecom France had a pretty big loan to have this be 3-1 instead of, or 2-1 instead of 3-1. So let's look, see if there's anybody else we want to buy before we mess with it. So here's us. Telecom, or AT&T is wholly owned by China Mobile. Nokia is wholly owned by AT&T. I think. Isn't that who they own? Who owns them? Oh, China Mobile owns them. So who owns AT&T? Somebody. Citigroup. Okay. And then they own BSO, and then SK Telecom we don't want to buy because his price is too high. What about Telecom Italia? Oh, that's who owns Daewoo Group. So Nippon must have picked up that in a merger. Alright, let's see what else. I don't think there's anything else that we want to get, but we might get Vodafone in a bankruptcy. Alright, so 8% is what we're going to have. Growth rate's 2%, but our return rate is still pretty low. So I'm going to jump up. What's our management? Actually, we want Verizon. Our management is somewhat mediocre, so let's make it 8%. And growth rate -8 for right now. And since we're going to be growing at a negative, I'm not going to give him any more cash. I'm going to let him pay this down naturally. Because we're growing at a negative, or we're earning a negative right now. How bad is it? $1.86 over 3/4. It's because the interest rate's so high, I guess. But we've already improved him. I mean, we're only 4 billion, 5 billion over. So we'll just leave it. It's fine. Okay, I think that's it for right now there. Alright, so now let's turn this autopilot on. And we'll see what it says here. The autopilot feature is now turned on. This means that all of your controlled companies, except the company of which you are the president and CEO, will now be managed by the program in the same way as companies that you do not control. You can still make decisions for any of your controlled companies, like having a company buy a particular stock or setting its growth rate, but the program may later decide to sell off that stock or to raise or lower the company's asset growth rate from where you had set it. The program will not initiate certain major transactions, such as stock purchase or merger, without your permission. But it will sell off stocks without my permission? I guess that's what it's trying to imply. Okay. Well, that's on. Let's change the stock ticker to 66, because we don't need it to go quite so slow anymore. And let's see, is there anything else I need to do? I guess that's it, except we want to clean this up. Now normally, or at least up until this point in the series, I would just hit clear and then hit fill. Okay, and the way this fills in is directly from my profile, my portfolio. So as you can see, the first one is SunTrust Banks, then Arabian Oil, Costco, etc. And that's just what it is all the way up to number 12, which is Hartford Insurance Group. And then from there, it finds other stocks that I have, but I don't know what the criteria is because I own 29 and it's only going to pick 3. I don't know what its criteria is for picking these last 3. But what I like to do, once I have more stocks than will fit in here, is I like to list them in order of their value. So what I do is I go to largest market cap off the general, and I just go down the list, any of the ones that are marked P, from the top down. So SunTrust is my most valuable company, so it goes on top. And then next up is Hartford Insurance. And after that, Arabian Oil. I imagine Swiss Reinsurance will be next. Yep. Okay, and on down. So, give me just a minute while I do these. Now, the reason why I do that is because all of these companies on this list, this is where most of my money is. So this is where I want to focus all of my personal attention. All the other ones, the ones that aren't on this list that we own, if we mess up on those, it's not going to affect us a whole lot. It's not going to make that big a difference to our numbers over here. But if we mess these up, it's a major portion of our net worth. So we have to give these more personal attention than the rest. All right, and so like every year or so, we're going to update this list based on the value of these companies. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to go through and deal with all these orange items, get them situated because they haven't been touched or they need to be touched. We're going to decide whether to keep all of these subsidiaries in the third and fourth tier. So we already know that Hitachi and Philips we're going to keep, and we're going to liquidate those into Siemens as soon as their antitrust suits reach a conclusion. But we need to decide what we're going to do with Time Warner Cable and Hitachi Metals. Either we're going to sell this 25% or we're going to buy the other 75%. And we may or may not keep him under Hitachi. We may move him somewhere else. We've got to make all those decisions. When we're done with that, I want to go through this list of all the companies that I control, and if the numbers are getting smaller left to right like it is on 3Com, I want to go and look at why and see if I can't fix it. Whether I need to freeze loans in that industry so that our picture improves or whatever the case may be. So like here, AirTran, he's got major negative last year. Last quarter he was negative. This year he's positive. Probably don't need to do anything with him. But all the ones that are headed in the wrong direction, you know, getting smaller as we go left to right, those are the ones we need to touch. All right, so that's the plan. Now, while we're doing that, there's two things we got to constantly keep an eye on. Our futures, and I need to go and look and see what I spent on that. So here's silver. Where's the last one? Here it is, 14.28. All right, so if any of these commodities reach our target price, oil $36, gold $2,100, silver $28, wheat $10, and corn $2. So if we start to hit any of those numbers anywhere, we need to pause and deal with it. Interest rate, if it gets up to 12, which hopefully it will, we need to do interest rate swaps. But in the meantime, we're just going to go through our list and make sure that we get all of these different things situated. So let's start at the top. Okay, and the reason why we have him marked is because of this dividend. So let's go to him. Alright, so here he is. His R&D is fine, his growth rate is fine. We just need to eliminate his dividend. Okay, and let's just check on his okay, so he's got a 2-to-1. We can just pay the rest of this off and then it'll be 3-to-1. Alright, 3-to-1. Alright, next up. Fuji cable, or what is this? Fuji machine. Let's go ahead and hide these. Alright, so Fuji machine. And he's actually headed in the right direction, but his debt is too high. Let's take a look at the industry. Alright, we're the market leader. Oh, we got a great return. We don't need to grow negative with that kind of a return. We need to up our R&D to 9. We can grow at 5% or 10% if we want to. And we just need to give him some money. So how much money do we need to give him? We need to get this down to 1,500. So we need to give him $2 billion. All right, so and we're still not paying attention to earnings reports yet. All right, so he doesn't have any bonds, so let's just pay off a loan. Okay, our dividend is already 0. So we'll adjust our growth rate to 10% and our R&D to 9. All right, that looks good. And we'll hang on to him. Let's see what our Kraft is a super fun site. Oh, brother. Okay. Okay, Kraft. Alright, so we have already doubled our money. And our target price on Fuji. Okay, this is, we need to add $2 billion to that, so $67.75. And our target price is $338.75. So we need to double and then some. Alright. But he's taken care of now. Let's go deal with Kraft. Here's Kraft. We needed to deal with him anyway. There's a 77% market share. And we were looking at buying the rest of him. But I guess what we're going to do is we're going to pull all of his assets away from him and put it in a different company. Alright, so let's go to Kraft. He's got a decent price right now, so let's look at the industry and see who we can transfer it to. And there really isn't any good choices. Let's look at Hormel. Nobody owns him. It would cost us $7 billion to buy him. And Kraft has $100 billion in assets. And who owns Kraft? Swiss, right? Yeah. Swiss Reinsurance doesn't have any cash. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to buy Hormel. There he is. Give him the cash that he needs to buy all of Kraft's assets. It looks like the game gave Kraft a dividend, right? Kraft didn't have a dividend, and now all of a sudden he does. So I guess that's one of the things that the autopilot will adjust. Alright, I'm going to buy Hormel and give him money and have him take all the assets from Kraft. Let's do that. And I'm only going to give him enough to have the credit to buy what he needs. So I'm going to give him $75 billion, and he'll have to borrow $25 billion so that he'll have some debt. Okay, now have him buy assets from Kraft. And I'm going to buy all but that $600 million so that Kraft is still in the industry. Have to borrow $21 billion. Okay. Almost 3-1. Alright, what's his management? Reasonably competent. Alright, let's look at the industry, see what we need to make our parameters here. Don't need to grow negative. Well, I guess we should probably grow a little bit negative, because if we grow positive, we'll go above 20 or 50%. So we'll leave that at -5. We'll make our R&D 7 and eliminate the dividend. Alright, now on Kraft, we don't want to just leave this cash sitting here. So let's pay off his loan and do an extraordinary dividend on the rest. We'll deal with these bankruptcies in a minute. Alright, so he's got $7 billion left, and he's a super fund site, and that goes on for a while. And basically what my plan is with these two companies, Lukoil, which has asbestos claims, and Kraft, which has a super fund site, is that once those disasters have run their course, both those companies will have a lot of tax loss carryovers. And so then I'll have the other company that I have in the same industry, I'll have it buy and merge with Kraft. So Hormel, I will eventually merge with Kraft after the asbestos or the Superfund has run its course. And I'll have Arabian Oil merge with Lukoil once the asbestos claims have died out. And that way these companies can absorb the tax loss carryovers. But until that happens, we want to keep them separate. Until those disasters end, I want to keep them separate. Alright, so now I'm going to contribute Hormel to Swiss Reinsurance. Alright. So this one's now fine. Let's see, let's change him to green. And we need to add Hormel. Alright, I'll put all that information in later. But he is 100% owned. We know that. Alright, so we dealt with this one too. And him. Alright, so next up is Time Warner. Oop, wrong button. Okay, so this is the money that he got when I bought, I think it was Warner Brothers, when I bought Warner Brothers from him. So you can put that toward his loan. His return is good, is reasonably competent. Let's look at the industry. Oh wow, he's got a major share. I'm going to take his growth rate down to negative 1%. His marketing will go up to 8%, and we'll eliminate his dividend. Wow, he's trading at 397%. Alright, let's see what our target price on him is going to be. Actually, I don't need this. I've already got it calculated somewhere else. His target price is $217. Is that right? $217. I do have these numbers correct, don't I? Let's see. 130, 429. No, he's higher. Wonder why that is. doesn't have any futures contracts. So I don't know why that number is different. Alright, let's change these numbers and then we'll look at it again, because I mean the stock price needs to be 217. Is that what I said? Yeah, 217. Alright, let's just change this. We'll just assume that it's right, 217, and we'll go with that. So growth rate -1, R&D of 8. Okay. And let's just pay off our loan since the interest rates are so high. That'll help us out a lot. Okay. That's him taken care of. Now he's a subsidiary of AOL. Do I want to leave him there? I mean, that's a big chunk of money right there. He's right there. He's pretty expensive to buy. So I mean, AOL has only had 6% of his assets as operating assets. So he's taxed differently as a result. But I really don't want to spend $400 billion to take him away from him. So I guess we're just going to leave him there for right now. We will have AOL buy back some of these bonds, though, now that the prices are low. Let's buy back 19,000. Okay, still got a little money left. Alright, so we've dealt with him. Now Time Warner Cable. Okay. It's going to be a while before he's ready to sell. Alright, let's look at the industry. And again, we're at the top of the list. Return's kind of low. And got a debt problem. So we'll want to make the R&D 7. Yeah, he's mediocre. Matter of fact, let's make it 8. Pay back some of the loan. Actually, buy back the bonds first. Pay back some of the loan. Okay, eliminate the dividend. Growth rate -1. And R&D 8. Alright, that looks good. All right, next one is Food Lion. Here we are. Wow, his stock price is high. He's in a great debt situation. 1044. Who owns him? Let's take a look. We definitely don't want to buy the other 80%. What's our target price? 135. All right, not quite there, but he could get there. He's already at 700%. He's not going to go any higher than that. Oh, that's Nippon. Yeah, I think we're just going to take our profit here. Yeah. All right, so we're going to have Nick sell that off. All right, now who else? Neck Peripherals. Was he up next? Yeah. All right, let's look at that one. Here we are. Terrible debt situation. Decent return. Very capable. But the supply-demand is worsening. And he's got too much debt. Alright, it's at $42 a share, and our target is way up there. Alright, let's see what our wrong button. So we would take a loss if we sold it now. But he's double his price, so I think I'm just going to let it go. Just let it go. It's just not big enough to worry about. Alright, so we're going to sell it. Not worried about the loss. Alright, and we'll go ahead and pay this down too. Okay. Alright, so we've got written both of those, so rather than turn them green, I'm just going to delete them. Alright, so next up is Hitachi Metals. Which is in the steel industry. Here we are. Wow, great returns. His income's going up. He's very capable. He's got some physical commodities and very little debt. I mean, the stock price is pretty high, but that's more than 4 to 1 there. What's our target price? 403. Alright, there must be something off in my calculation here. Must be not compensating for ones that aren't 100% owned. I thought I had put that in there somewhere. I mean, there it is right there. But okay, let's do it the old-fashioned way. So we invested 2015. So that's how much we would want to get back. So we just need another 800 billion. I mean, it's deteriorating, so even though he's going up, he's going to go down pretty soon. He's already rated as a strong sell. So I think we'll just go ahead and give him up. We can always buy him back when his stock price goes down. Alright, and now we can pay off our loan. And let's see if there's anything else worth buying at this point. Nope. Just pay off the loan. Hang on to the cash and we'll deal with it when we merge it with Siemens. Alright, anybody else? Is that it? I guess that's it. Alright, now let's go through and look at the ones here where we're going small. We're getting smaller as we go left to right. So starting with 3Com, which is in network and telecom. Alright, we got a major negative return. We're very incompetent. But our debt situation is fine. We've got more cash than loan. Alright, so let's up our R&D and see if we can't turn it around. Alright, now do we need to limit the lending on anybody? These guys are all growing like gangbusters. So Cisco, Lucent, and H Company. Juniper Networks. We can slow all of them down by freezing their credit. So let's do that. Alright, so Cisco. Lucent. Juniper Networks. And what was the other one? H Company, right? Okay. One, two, three, four. So that's what we needed to do. All right. Okay, and while I'm thinking of it, the autopilot said that it would mess with the rates on everybody except the company that you were a CEO of. So I think I'm going to make myself CEO of the bank so that it doesn't mess with the bank. And while it'll depress the earnings by this amount every quarter, we're making plenty of money off of the bank, so we'll just not worry about it. Because I don't think we're ever going to sell SunTrust. But, you know, maybe one day, but he's got all the loans and he's the one that we control everybody's credit through, so that's probably the one that we'll hang on to forever. Alright, next up. Okay, he's going in the right direction. He's going in the right direction. Right direction, right direction. Right direction. Right direction. Looks good. Let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. Okay, here we are. All the returns are real low. And it's just that his management's mediocre. Alright, but it's high enough, so we just got to give it some time to work. Alright, what's next? Here's Goldman Sachs. Alright, so that's good, that's good, that's real good. And alright, he declared bankruptcy, so let's see what we need to do with him. You just have Dow buy him. Yep, we'll just have Dow buy him and liquidate him. Okay. Alright, next. Japan Air. I think it's going to be the same situation. Need to have AirTran buy him. Here he is. And here's AirTran. Yep, we'll just have AirTran buy him, liquidate him. Alright. Kraft Foods we just messed with. Lenovo. Wow. Alright, so we need to up his R&D a little bit to 8%. And we got to give it time to work. He didn't get adjusted down, did he? Where's Lenovo? Here. No, his R&D was 6% and it still is. Alright, so let's change it to 8. And his debt situation is fine. Maybe we need to grow a little bit more negative. Bring these returns up. I don't like doing that when I only have a 10% share, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. Alright, what's next? Litton, that's fine. Luke Oil, we know what his problem is. Fine, fine. Okay, Microsoft. Holy cow, 52%? That's not what we had him at. We had him at 6 and 10. I mean, that's a great stock price. 766%. But that's a whole heck of a lot to be growing. Let's, he's very capable. Obviously the thing's deteriorating. He's got massive tax loss carryovers. Wow. Well, I don't know. What's our target price on him? 77, and he's at what? 34. Man, he must have cost us a lot. Yeah, he cost us a lot. Okay. I mean, he's only 16%, so we need to make him a bigger part of the market, but that's just way high. But I mean, this return is good, so I'm going to let it ride, see what happens. All right, so I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to let the autopilot do what it's doing. So next up is Nippon, and it's fine. Phillips, let's take a look at it. Yeah, we got all the settings where we want them to be on him. His debt's a little high, but we can just pay that down now. He's got cash from downsizing. And he's heading the right direction now, anyway. Alright, so Sao Paulo. Alright, he's got a low return because we got his R&D so high. Because he's very incompetent, so we just need to give that time to work. And he's got an antitrust in the process. Alright, so Sears is fine. Siemens is heading in the right direction. Alright, we just started this company last year, or maybe it was this year. Let's see how he's doing. His R&D is fine. His growth rate is a little high for what he's got, but I think he's got a lot of cash, yeah. Alright, so we'll let that ride. That was Singa. Okay, so Edison is next. He's mediocre. That's what we got to fix. Nobody's growing out of line really except for this guy. So let's cut off his credit, Exelon Corporation. I don't know if that's even going to do any good because his return is much higher than what he's spending on growth. But it may not help, but it won't hurt. So the only other thing is to just get his management up from mediocre. Alright, so he's going in the right direction, but let's take a look at him since he's negative. He's very capable, has a 47% market share. Oh yeah, and this is semiconductors. These were all negative before. So he's headed in the right direction. He's fine. Alright. SunTrust is good. He's good. Time Warner. I guess he just had a temporary blip last quarter. Because all this looks good to me. Okay. He's headed in the right, he's headed in the right direction. Alright, Verizon we just bought. Volkswagen. Volkswagen doesn't look to be in good shape at all. Alright, so let's look. Everybody's slimming down. And all these settings look fine. I guess just his management's bad. Yep, mediocre. Alright, do we have room to raise it? We could make it 8. Alright, let's make it 8. See if that helps. Alright, Warner Brothers is in the right direction, and Warner Lambert we just got him. He declared bankruptcy. And he's in pharmaceuticals, or no, he's in household and personal products. Do we have a company there? No. Okay, so let's just get his debt under control to start with. So we want, what is that, about 1,800? So we need to give him 23. Alright, what do we want for settings? Need his R&D to be 5, growth 0, and pay off his loan. If we just get that up, we should be doing okay. Alright, now STI just got another one. In heavy machinery. And that's the first one in there too. Alright. Too much debt. We need to get this down to, or this down to 3,500. So we got to give him 3,600. Oh, not enough. Let's see, we got to get it down to 3,000, I guess. Or a little under that, 2,800. He's headed in the right direction, but he's very incompetent. Let's just adjust his settings first. Alright, so we need to put his R&D up to, gosh, 11%, really? Alright. And let's leave his growth rate at -6 for now. Well, I hope... Okay. This is what I don't like about the autopilot. You know, it created a dividend and now it's reducing it. It's like... Why did you create a dividend in the first place? Of course, we did just take all of his assets in cash. And he still has a dividend when he shouldn't. Shouldn't have any dividend at all. Okay, Alright, I think that's it. Now let's go through these and then we can start paying attention to earnings reports again. So, STI has too much cash. But there's a whole bunch of business loans still to buy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him go ahead and buy what's remaining. We should have enough to buy them all. So I'm going to fast forward now while I buy all of those, and I'll be right back. While I'm not 100% happy with what the autopilot is doing, I'm going to continue to let it run. But we've been going for a long time now, and you know, we have to end these parts somewhere. So I'm going to end this part here. And hopefully in the next episode we'll get more than 2 months worth of game time to elapse, and we'll take a look at what the autopilot is doing on all the companies in the month of May 2023. So until next time, guys, hope you have a good one. Please like and share if you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.